In the final validation tutorial, we're going to have a look at how we can validate a telephone number by looking at the format of data that is put in there. So we're going to have a look at our telephone number here. We'll go to our source code and we'll look for where it says telephone number, which is probably going to be a little bit higher. There it is. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a thing called pattern. So if I type in pattern equals, and we can now put in a pattern here that it must follow. What we're going to do is we're just going to make sure first of all we can get a mobile telephone number to start with a 0. So I'm just going to put a pattern of 0, and that's all we're going to do to get it started. So we'll save that, we'll refresh our screen here, and I'm going to try putting in a different number. Please match the requested format. Okay, so let's try a 0, and now it's come on to the postcode, so it's passed through the telephone number issue. That's great. So let's have a look now at what else we can do with the telephone number. So I didn't mean to double click then. We want to go and have a look at our source code, and this time we're going to add some extra things to the pattern. A British telephone number will have 11 digits, the first digit being 0. And so we want another 10 digits. Now those 10 digits are going to be from 0 to 9. So if I put in 0 to 9 in square brackets, what this is expecting is a 0 followed by any digit. Again, we can check this and build it up as we go along. So we'll refresh this again and we'll try 0A. Doesn't like it. Try 09. Still doesn't like it, so there is a problem. Now I think that's probably because I put a space in there. So if I add a space as well and put 0 space 9, we can see that it has now worked. So let's have a look back at what we were doing. Go back to our code. That's where I'd put that space in, so we mustn't put a space in here. And what I want to happen is I want that 0 to 9 to repeat 10 times. So rather than just typing in 0 to 9, 0 to 9, 0 to 9 and so on, I'm going to put in brackets. We're then going to put the fact that we want it to go 10 times, and we'll use these curly brackets. You'll find them above the square brackets next to the letter P on your keyboard. So I'm going to say that I want that to go 10 times, and of course I've got to close the brackets now. So what this is doing is saying we must have a 0 followed by any digit from 0 to 9 10 times. Let's have a look and see if it works. So we'll refresh this and we'll try and put in a phone number 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we'll leave it at that. Not enough. If we add in one more digit, that should be fine. That's really good news. The only problem is, if we go back and have a look at this, when we were making a mistake, it says please match requested format. Now that's a validation rule with an error message, and it will meet the requirements of the task. However, that error message doesn't mean much, so this is a little bit of an idea for an extension. What we can do is we can put what's called a placeholder, so that'll be an instruction that appears inside this box. So we'll go back to telephone number, look at our source code again, and we can add on to the end of this what's called a placeholder. So we put placeholder equals, and now we can put our instruction. So my instruction is going to be something along the lines of enter telephone number with 0 and no spaces. Finish that off, and my size of 15 is not going to be enough now, so I'm going to try changing that to about 35, and let's see what happens. So we'll save this, refresh this, and try, and look, it says enter telephone number with 0 and no spaces. Not quite enough, so we can try it out and just make sure it works anyway. So 09876543321, put in one more digit. Well, no, we won't put in that digit. Same match requested format. At least now we know what that requested format was when we started. So that's the validation. The next tutorial will be looking at how you produce the evidence for this.